Hi, let me introduce myself. My name is Alyssa, and I'll be walking you through an app I've been working on called Memini. Alright, let's get started. Meet Vanessa Moore. She's an 18-year-old nursing student living in California. She works as a full-time Taekwondo instructor. She is single, and like most people, she has a very busy life. Goals and motivations for Vanessa is organization. With learning another language on top of her nursing vocabulary, she needs to be able to keep all her vocabulary on one platform. With her busy work and school schedule, she needs reminders to help get a little extra studying in. She also needs that flexibility to study on the go. And lastly, with everything that is going on in her life, she needs something that is easy to use. Vanessa struggles with memorizing her Korean kicking combinations. She needs to remember the names of certain kicks at a drop of a hat or make up a new combination to keep students on their toes. I hope with daily use of the app, she will one day be able to say her kicking combinations in Korean with confidence or use her nursing terminology on a daily basis for a future job. For the usability testing, I chose for users to create an account, add a new vocabulary list, along with a new word. I wanted them to interact with one of the games, and lastly, I wanted them to set up daily reminders. For the prototyping process, I started off with pen and paper. I sketched everything out. I assumed that the app was already downloaded, so I started from the first page, which was creating an account, and then I moved on to onboarding. When I was creating the wireframes for the prototype, I never realized, what I took for granted. All the steps I needed to sketch out and how to get to the next page, there's a lot more that goes into it, and having to do everything step by step really gives me a deeper appreciation for the designers. Now, the screen on the left is the creating an account experience, and it goes from, signing in with email, creating username and password, and then you move on to the right side of the page, which is onboarding. And that starts off with a welcome to the app, and it goes into some tips and tricks. When I was creating the onboarding, I didn't put a lot of thought into it. In the beginning, I didn't really know what will go into the app. I want to add more to it, but since my app is still evolving, it's pretty plain at this point. The next prototyping process I have is interacting with one of the games. You pick the game you want to play, and then you select what vocabulary list you would like to include. The games are matching. Click on one of the words, then click on the matching definition. There's multiple choice. Select the right word, and then you go on to the next one. Fill in the gap. You drag each word to the matching sentence, and flashcards. You have your pronunciation, definition, sentence, and a picture, if you want to add one. I also included the prototyping for creating new vocabulary lists and adding a new word. With other apps I looked at, most of them did not have a customizable way to create a way to study certain words or only have one definition for the word. I wanted a way to better organize words you want to save. For instance, in my examples, let's say you took a chapter in criminology. You want to keep that separate from your chapter you have for victimology. I didn't see an option like that in the other apps that I played around with. You can also set reminders, and you can turn them off at any time. Here is a list of user feedback that I implemented into my revised version. Quazel had said, when I'm on the select vocabulary list, there should be a next button I can click on after I select what list I want to practice from, which makes sense. I didn't think about how they would get to the next page. Oscar suggesting that I should add tips about setting up reminders, and Cameron wanting a little more interaction. Chantel wanted an icon to show her when she was on the home screen page because right now it is so plain. For my revisions, I added just a little more to the onboarding screen. Before it was blank and all my users had no idea what to do, so I added a welcoming screen with an option to skip it all or swipe through each tip. Some of the simple fixes were small things like a house icon to signify that it is the home screen. Change some of the wording like notifications to reminders. On the games page, it said select a vocabulary list. I changed that to select the categories you would like to include. Originally, and when you were trying to create an account, I didn't have the Facebook or Google icons, so I added those so it's more eye-catching and it's quicker way to log in or create an account. And then I also gave adding a picture as an option for when you are adding your definition. That way you could, a little personalization. For my next steps, I want to incorporate some type of reward system to keep the users motivated. Something that says, good job, when you get some questions right. I also made some revisions to my app, but I would like to test it out on a targeted audience. Fix the issues that they may have found and then go from there. What I learned. Pros. The usability test helped me see what areas need to be improved or what areas didn't make sense. When sketching everything out, it all makes sense to me, so it's great to have a fresh pair of eyes on it. When I would go through other vocabulary apps, I would think, you know what this needs, or I should add that to my app. This helped me incorporate better ways for users to study and stay organized. Cons. I did interview sessions with people I knew, and I did find it difficult to coordinate a date and time for the session to be conducted. The waiting was very time-consuming, and because I did the sessions with people I knew, majority of them were not the right audience. Another con is paying attention to detail. Otherwise, it will cost you a lot of time later. Thank you for listening.